Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all as per your respective time zones. It's really an exciting experience to have AU virtual this time. I am Varun Bhartiya, CEO and co-founder of Encircle Tech, and I welcome you all to this webcast on BIM connections. Very briefly, Encircle Tech is a CAD BIM software development company that takes pride in solving challenging industry problems in AEC and manufacturing and makes time for people. We provide software development services to passionate innovators in the industry so that they can focus on their core business. Now let's jump straight into the topic for the session. Construction industry still works with a mix of software. For example, we have different set of tools for project management, document storage, point cloud management, submittals, handover, model checking, facility management, and many more. All the big giants are working towards one common data environment, but we are still far away from that one tool and one common data environment that serves every use case end to end. Even when we have such a common tool that serves all such use cases end to end, it becomes a big challenge to move the existing workforce to such a common project tool. I know of a construction company which spent 5 years and millions of dollars developing an end-to-end solution, but failed miserably during the implementation of this tool in the organization. People do not like any kind of change. We are all witnessing that even if the majority has chosen to vote for the new era and the new way of doing things, some people just refuse to accept the change. AC industry has one of the biggest challenges: poor project performance, risk of going over budget, and risk of failing to deliver within specified timelines. One of the major factors that contributes in wastage of time is data transfer and data management issues. Unavailability of updated data for all stakeholders cause a lot of rework and thus add to budget overruns. Key findings of a survey done by PlanGrid in August 2018: time spent on non-optimal activities such as fixing mistakes, looking for project data, and managing conflict resolution accounts for about 177 billion in labor cost per year. It also found that rework caused by miscommunication and inaccurate and inaccessible information will cost the industry in US about $31 billion. All these numbers are huge. And if likewise, Andrew also quoted that data is the new dollar. Material waste accounts for approximately 25% of the project cost, and rework adds an estimated 10%. 52% of the rework is caused by poor data and miscommunication. So all this led us to think, what can we do until one common data environment and one common tool for everything becomes a reality? And also, how can we accelerate the progress towards this common data environment and standardization? Here at Encircle, we created a platform that takes care of some of these data transfer issues and mundane activities without much manual intervention. While designing this platform, we kept end user in mind and designed a system that is minimally invasive, very easy to adopt, and something that does not require training of an existing workforce. We created Platform BIM Connection, a trigger and action driven system that automates the repetitive manual task for end user. In very simple words, this is like an email filter. If email is received from a particular person, then forward it to another person. If this, then that. We built on this concept and applied it specifically for BIM industry. Let's look at some example use cases. If a new version of BIM model is received, immediately run BIM standards check on the file and generate reports. If all the checks have passed, then transfer the file to another folder or person. Another example, if a new version of BIM model is received, then run bill of quantities and export PDF sheets for weekly BIM coordination meetings. If a new version of BIM model is received or any changes have happened in the project management tool, then sync the issues between two different systems. I personally feel that we lose a lot of time and sleep preparing for such meetings because of last minute updates, and often decision making is delayed because of unavailability of updated data. We want to address these problems and really make more time for people. On BIM Connections platform, you can configure such rules and let it process things automatically. When machines can do such work for you, why spend your own time doing these mundane activities every day, every week? Let's look at how this platform works. So we log on to bimconnections.com, log into your account. As soon as you log in, you can create connections on BIM Connections platform. A connection is a combination of conditions, like if particular event happens, then do something else. So in this case, we start by choosing a specific app. Then there are specific events associated with that app. In this case, let's start with new file added. Of course, need to provide credentials so that platform can access your data. We follow the state of art protocols set forth by all these cloud platform systems like BIM 360 to ensure that your data is well protected, and we access data only by approved methods which are very secure. So once the account credentials are provided, we ask user to pick specific folder. So let's pick Heart and Soul project, and within that building models folder. So now what we are saying or configuring to the system really is, if a new file is added to this building models folder in BIM 360, then choose an action. What do you want to do with this particular file? Let's start with a simple action, like as soon as the file is received, let's say we want to transfer this file to another cloud storage. In this case, let's take an example of Google Drive. Again, provide the credentials so that it can add files to your Google Drive account. And once it is set up, you would want to choose a specific folder in which you want to update all your files. So again, I have a similar folder created on Google Drive, Heart and Soul, and I want the files to be transferred to this folder. This can happen in your projects when not everyone is using BIM 360 and some of them are using Google Drive for sharing files. On your homepage, you will see that the new connections has just been configured for transferring the files. Now let's look at what happens when you actually upload certain files here. So I pick up a folder and add a file to it, Heart and Soul building IFC file. And you would see this has added a specific count of triggers. So it basically got this trigger once and it has successfully transferred the file to its destination. So if I open Heart and Soul, the file just got added in the destination folder. Now let's try to make things more interesting. What if we want to transfer the file or check the file for BIM standards, so that we do not transfer the files which are not meeting all the BIM standards set forth by the company. So in this case, again, in the similar steps, choose an app, choose an account, and this time we are going to choose, choose a folder that you want to monitor. Again, we choose a similar folder, but this time we choose an action which is run model checker for Revit and IFC files. Now, what kind of rules to check for? We already used a existing tool or a automation provided by Autodesk for called as Revit model checker. Now, what this does is you might already be using this tool, has an XML file of configuration for all the checks to be checked, and here you just upload that same check set file so that whenever a Revit file is uploaded, it can perform all those checks automatically for you. So I'm uploading best practices 2021.xml, and at the same time we also realize that this model checker of Revit by Autodesk does not necessarily cover all important checks that you want to do for your models. Some of these are very geometrical checks. So for example, slope of pipes, floor to floor height, even headroom checks, and so on. So in this case, let's say we pick up few such checks: floor to floor height, position of sanitary pipes, which means the drinking water tanks should not, or a sanitary pipe should not be exactly above a drinking water tank, and headroom check. So we also ask, okay, where do you want the results to be uploaded? In this case, let's say we want the result to be uploaded back into BIM 360 in same project, but in a different folder called as model checker results. As soon as you submit, the entire connection is now configured. So if you look at this, the check is, as soon as a file is uploaded in BIM 360, run model checker, and then upload the results to back in BIM 360. All right, so once this rule is configured, let's look at the things in action. Let's upload a file to this folder of building models in Heart and Soul project. You will notice as soon as this file is uploaded, a model and notification is triggered to the end user, so that on an email, which is like a report of Autodesk model checker for Revit. You will notice that it actually ran 97 checks. 8 of those passed and 11 of those failed. 78 were just like count and list kind of checks. It will count things like file size, loadable families, different kinds of list, and many more kind of such checks. You can also directly open this model from your email. So now it takes you back into BIM Connections, where you can see the results in much more detail on BIM Connections platform. You get data on all the checks performed and even the elements related to those checks. You can download these results as an Excel file for your further processing. The same Excel file is also available in the model checker results folder on your BIM 360 account. This instantaneous feedback to engineers can make a lot of difference. Instead of you waiting to realize this any small mistake during the BIM coordination meeting, this tool is actually providing the feedback to every designer as soon as a new version of model is available. Let's look at this again. Upload another project on BIM 360. if you notice the time at which it is uploaded, it's, let's say, 14:14. So as soon as this file is uploaded, you will notice that in matter of seconds, it is actually running all the results, all the checks, and uploading the results into the results folder. So 14:15, it was uploaded. 14:15, the results have been uploaded into results folder. Because we uploaded 3 files, BIM connections platform is also counting, keeping track of how many times such checks were performed, and so on. We also perform more complex geometrical checks. So this time let's upload an IFC file. If you remember, we did some checks like sanitary pipe over water tank and so on. So likewise, it generates a detailed report of all the checks and the elements linked with all these geometrical checks. An email report is sent to the user so that they can take action on the file. We can open this file in BIM connections platform. We can also visualize all these results in very interactive manner. So all the model checker results are available. I'm going to show you, let's say, some use cases. So there are some water tanks which are safe because there is no sanitary pipe on top of these tanks. But in some other cases, we find there are sanitary pipes running on top of water tanks, which is obviously a failure scenario and should be fixed for appropriate government approvals. Now, another use case, as I described, is about exporting the PDF files from your Revit models so that you are well prepared for the BIM coordination meetings. Again, very similar steps: new file added, provide the credential, pick a folder on which you want to monitor, and then choose an action, which is print to PDF. Pick where do you want to store the results. We pick BIM 360 again. We add specific folder, which is PDF exports folder, so that exported PDF file is available in that BIM 360 folder. Now, in this case, again, let's upload a file to building models. And as soon as we upload this file, on the back end, it is processing all your files and generating the PDF exports almost instantaneously. And if you view these files contain all your 2D sheet views that you could have created. You can have more customization on what sheets to export, should there be a need. But this kind of streamlines the process so that you're not really waiting for someone to provide you the file and you will do the final export to PDF. Although it is a very simple click in Revit, open the file, click on export to PDF. The problem is you are waiting and you lose a lot of time and sleep to get the file from your team members. If this process was happening automatically, you know that as soon as this file is uploaded in the correct folder, the rest of the steps of exporting to PDF files will happen just automatically. This is the value that we want to bring to everyone. Don't waste your time in repetitive, mundane tasks. Let machines handle these steps for you. Okay. Now, if all of this is making sense to you, let me highlight the USPs again. This system is very automatic. Automatic actions once the triggers are set. We really focused on keeping ease of adoption at the center of this platform. You don't need to switch to any new platform. no additional training is required once it is configured, and it could be configured just by an administrator so that users don't even realize how this automation is happening and they don't even need to worry about it. And last but not least, data security. Since we ourselves are not hosting any kind of data on our servers, we are just making sure that the processing is happening. Your data is well protected. As soon as you disconnect from BIM connections, the data is still on your server, no additional step required to download the data or anything, and we do not have any copies. So all in all, a very secure system. Now, let's look at how this is all priced. So we have a simple pricing structure, $0.5 US dollars per file transfer. Now, when it comes to doing additional or things more than just file transfer, like model rule checking or export to PDF files, we are doing a lot more heavy lifting and processing. So it is $2 per PDF export and $3 for model rule checking, per model rule checking. So if I account this practically, I think an engineer spends about 8 to 10 hours in an entire month for generating all kinds of PDF export files. 8 to 10 hours in a month is a significant part of one employee's time. If you compare the salary of your one employee spending that much time in just this export, you'll find that this kind of pricing would be very optimal, because this scales up to all your engineers. If you're interested in like this solution, feel free to reach out to us, and feel free to sign up on bimconnections.com. Thank you so much. I would now take up any questions from the audience.